Hi, Nidhi.
Hi.
It's been a while since we were together at the Rotary Club in Raffles City. And, I remember even in those days, you were so involved with the Crohn's and Colitis Society. Can you tell us something about what's Crohn's and what's colitis?
Sure. Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis are actually autoimmune diseases, which basically means our immune system has gone a little bit wrong and it's attacking our own body. Yeah. The difference is that when it comes to the digestive tract, because Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis are autoimmune diseases of the digestive tract. And when we look at ulcerative colitis, it is just the large intestine that is affected. Yeah. And the rest of it, when it comes to Crohn's disease, it can be anywhere from the beginning to the end. Any part of it can be affected. And that's when it's classified as Crohn's disease.
I see.
Yeah.
So these are related diseases.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have a society.
Oh,
so
yes.
what's the society about and how did you get started? And you started it, right?
Yes. Yeah. Together with a bunch of very kind-hearted people. Well, I started the Crohn's and Colitis Society because I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease in June 2011. And that was after 2 years of going through all kinds of symptoms and not having a diagnosis. So once I got diagnosed, I was like, oh wow, I've been through 2 years of symptoms and tests and scans, a lot of challenges. And I was told it's a mild case of Crohn's disease. So my heart literally just went out for people who might be living with moderate or severe illness. I was like, how do they cope? Because I was told 1 in 100,000 people get this kind of illness.
But that's not many, right? It's quite rare.
Very few people. Yeah. So I'm like, what's the likelihood of me bumping into someone who says, yes, even I have Crohn's disease, and then we can chat, right?
Well, it feels like a very lonely disease.
Absolutely. I was like, oh my God, when can I ever meet another person who has this, who totally understands what I'm going through? Yeah. So that is what motivated me, that let me create something. If it can help a few people, even if it is 10 people, that is where I started.
Wonderful. Now, how did you, get diagnosed? Because there are so few of you having been hit with such a disease. How did you get diagnosed?
Well, in my case, it wasn't a typical situation where most patients would have severe episodes of diarrhea, could have stomach pain, weight loss, vomiting. Some would have blood coming out of the anus. I didn't have any of these. So in my case, all that I had was dizziness. Furthest from the gut, I just had dizziness. And I felt I'm going in a boat. For a few days, I just felt I'm traveling.
But dizziness could be a symptom of anything, right?
Anything, exactly. So I just thought, oh, it could be some infection in the ear. Because we had just come back from an overseas trip, a family holiday in Europe. And after that, when I had these symptoms, I'm like, okay, it could be some kind of an infection. Let's go and consult an ENT specialist. So that's where the journey started. And he sent me for an MRI to check what's happening on the inside. Turns out they found a small space that was dead cells in my brain. So I was quickly referred to a neurosurgeon and a neurologist. A lot of tests happened, and within 2-3 days, I was told it's just an incidental finding. It means nothing. It's very difficult for a patient to digest, accept this kind of a thing, because you naturally, for the brain to have something or have some dead cells, it's a serious concern. So it just started with that.
And you ended up consulting a whole slew of specialists, right?
Yes, because every 2 to 3 months, my symptoms would change. I'd either have very dry eyes, or I'd have like rashes on the skin, or have palpitations. It just kept shifting from one area, how science looks at our
Right,
body, right?
right.
One area at a time. So it just kept shifting and shifting, and I kept going from specialist to specialist. So the only common factor was fatigue. So we were quite clear, my husband and myself, that there's something wrong. But each specialist would do a lot of tests and say, yeah, there's a little bit of something, nothing major, here are some medicines, and should be okay. But deep down, I knew something is not okay. Because these medicines would just tackle
Symptoms.
almost like a band-aid.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Symptoms.
those little symptoms.
You know, Nidhi, I must say that I empathize with you because I was in hospital about 5 years ago for 6 days. And they diagnosed me because I was having a fatigue syndrome. I was like reading newspapers and falling asleep and on the Zoom, and I fell asleep. You know, I was just tired. They took them 6 days and they couldn't find what's wrong with me after a battery of tests and a whole slew of specialists. So I guess medicine is all about elimination and just finding out what fits. Anyway, I was subsequently, after 6 more months, diagnosed with MDS, myelodysplastic syndrome. And I'm just managing it. There's no real medication. But anyway, I just wanted to say that, it's
so
like,
sorry to hear that.
yeah, it's like,
it's
what's
not
happening?
easy. It's not easy at all.
Yeah. So just tell us something more. So you had all these diagnoses, you finally pinned down to
Crohn's disease.
colitis.
It took a year of me going through all these different symptoms and different episodes of tests and scans and consultations. But then I had a major episode of diarrhea.
Right.
And that's when they suspected something is not right with the digestive tract.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And when a colonoscopy was done together with certain blood tests and other things, that's when they concluded that, okay, this is Crohn's disease. And of course, it leaves me with mixed emotions, because one is comfort that you know what is wrong. Not knowing is worse than getting a diagnosis, which is a chronic condition.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So I'm like, okay, thank God. I know what's wrong with me.
Yeah, because if you don't know, you can't start treating, right?
Treating it,
Yeah.
and you worry for the worst thing that
Yes.
might happen in the
Yes.
world
Yeah.
might be wrong with
Right.
me. Yeah.
Right.
So getting
that's
that
a good
diagnosis.
news. At least you know. I remember you telling me that there's another positive thing that came out of it, and that's what I like about you, Nidhi. Positive thing. You said something like, I'm so glad that this is happening to me and not to my 3 children and my husband.
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it was 5 of us who had gone on a holiday. Any one of us could have been unwell after coming back. If it wasn't me, how would I cope? Because I do have training in counseling and some management training. So I just put all those things together and I'm like, I think I can manage, on my own. If it's someone else, I think I would be pretty devastated.
Wow, that's really very positive. I'm going to ask you some questions about that later on. But right now, I'm just wanting to switch gear a little bit. Maybe you can tell us something about, what were you doing all this time and, your job, your career, your training, and how does this impact you?
Yeah, I was actually the executive director for the foundation of Rotary Clubs.
Right.
And that was my passion, that I have to use my education to have an impact or have a meaningful life. At the end of my life, I wanted to see myself as someone who made a difference.
Yeah.
Not just accumulate wealth or property or stuff like that. That isn't my primary, goal in life. So it was quite a surprise for many people because I have a master's in finance and another one in operations research. Later on, I also did a graduate certificate in counseling. But how I view this whole journey is I was given this illness for a reason. I view it in that way. If I didn't get diagnosed with Crohn's disease, I would not have set up the Crohn's and Colitis Society because I had no clue that there is such an illness at the first place. So being the director of a charity, having worked there for 10 years, gave me the experience of running a charity.
Right.
So the minute an illness came, I'm like, okay, so what do I do now? Something needs to change because I did try working part-time to manage fatigue and still continue my job, but it became very challenging. For one whole year, I tried, but it became literally like a pressure cooker.
Right.
Because as the director, you still need to do what you need to do.
Right.
So if I come in only half a day, I was still trying to.
Yeah.
And it became quite challenging. And that's when I had to draw the line that let's try to understand the illness, review where I am and what I can do actually, given the new situation, and then be there for my family the best that I can. So that is where I then resigned from my job. I quit my job. But within 6 months of reading and understanding the illness, and a lot of help, of course, I must mention, I must thank my husband, who's a researcher at NUS.
Right.
In biological sciences.
And your brother too.
And my brother too,
Right.
yes. He's a doctor, yeah. He's an internal medicine specialist. So these two guys played a very significant role in helping me understand the illness. And that's when okay, let's review the whole thing. You know, where am I? What are the opportunities? What are the threats? I literally did a SWOT analysis on myself. and I realized that, hey, I have almost like half of my life ahead of me.
Yes.
And I have this experience.
Yes.
Let's put all this together. So that's where my brother said, if you start a support group, it will be a big help for doctors.
Indeed.
And as a patient, I'm like, I'm a patient. How can I help doctors? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was my blind spot. And I did realize that they specialize in caring for the physical body.
Right.
Whereas if we come in with counseling skills and the peer support, that is a big help for doctors. The patients are taken care of on the other side.
The emotional side
Exactly.
of things.
Exactly.
Yeah. I must say kudos to my friend Sanjay, your husband. I mean, you get such a supportive husband. That really helps.
Yes.
And a brother that really cares. Fantastic. You're so blessed.
Yes.
But I was just thinking too, you know, you were talking about fatigue. I imagine that trying to cope with your, work with your 3 kids, being a wife to a good husband, nonetheless, there's so much, on your shoulders. So why take on another responsibility like caring for people who have the same diseases?
I think
What drives you?
it's part of my upbringing from school as well as from my family, my parents, that we always think of how we can help others and how we can live a meaningful life. Yeah, because living for ourselves is kind of equated to, everybody does that. Even animals can live for themselves. We need to be, doing something more. So for me, it was, even if I can help 10 people with what little I have, I will find that meaningful. That's how I started.
Wow.
Because I reached out to a lot of hospitals, started asking questions that who is doing what, to understand what's happening in the ground. Because I was a newly diagnosed patient. So some people did tell me, don't waste your time. There are very few patients in Singapore. Go and do what you're doing. And I, in that moment, was quite adamant. I was quite clear. I'm not going back to what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was also diagnosed with a second condition by then. In 6 months, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which is aches and pains of the muscles, not the joints, but the muscles. So between Crohn's disease and fibromyalgia, it was almost impossible for me to think of going back to my job.
Wow.
Yes. So I'm like, no way. And I am quite clear this is what I'm going to do.
Do you know you talk about values that obviously been passed on to you by your parents, your upbringing, your home. I think this underlines the importance of family values. You've got family values, and you have embrace that, and I'm sure you're passing that on to your children as well. But there's another thing. I mean, it's one thing to have those values, and one thing to say, I want to do it, as we say in our circle, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Mm-hmm. Now, you got fatigue problem, and you got this whole issue about energy, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. Where do you get all this energy from? Energy is a physical thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It took a lot of reflection, and I must say it wasn't right from the beginning I had all this energy that I have now. Yeah. I did go into the pits. I had cut down a lot of things because I couldn't cope. But then I realized I've actually come to a standstill. Life came to a standstill. And that's when I felt the only way to move is move up. There's no other way to go.
Yes.
So with the limited energy, what is it that I can do? So I would gather my energy and say, okay, the one thing I need to do is call up maybe 4 people and ask them what needs to be done if I want to start a support group. Then the next day, do an online search and see which country is doing anything in this space of Crohn's and colitis.
Right.
So I came across 20 countries, reached out to 1 or 2 that, can you guide me? Uh-huh. Because I come from the social services and this is healthcare.
Yes.
Yeah. So got some guidance from 1 or 2. Then I reached out to my Rotary circle, a very senior cardiologist and a leader in Rotary. I went and spoke to him that this is what I'm thinking of doing. What do you think? And he's like, this is an excellent idea. It didn't even take him 5 minutes. He was very quick to catch on. And he says, your club should take this project on. I'm like, wow, he sees something I am still...
That's Raffles City.
He just reinforced the...
That's Raffles City, the club, right?
Absolutely. That was Dr. Wuda Cheng from Garden City.
I see.
Another Rotary club.
Yeah.
But he was a very reputed
wonderful
leader in Rotary.
Wonderful.
District governor later. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how the journey started. Mm-hmm. So when I reached out to finding out how to start this organization, I was told we need 10 board members. Mm. So I called up some of the Rotary Club members.
Yeah, that's required for registration.
Yes, for registration.
As a society.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm also thinking that your journey, I mean, you know, wanting to do this for the emotional needs, as you said earlier on, the doctors can take care of the physical, the physiological, but you got to, you know, from your experience, there is emotional challenges as well. How much of that postgraduate certification in counseling help you to deal with that and to want to do something about that? Can you tell us about that?
For me to be able to differentiate that what is being caused by the medication and what are my own emotions, separating my thoughts and emotions, all these are very fine lines. Not everyone would be equipped. So I just feel, again, I'm blessed that I had this training. I could differentiate between these things and then put 2 and 2 together. That, okay, I actually have 2 choices. I can act or choose to be sad, miserable, because these diagnoses are not a very pleasant thing. We know it's a debilitating condition. And life can be quite miserable if we go through flare-ups. Or I have a choice to smile, to try to do whatever little I can with the little energy that I have, and maybe it will take me on the path of recovery. I didn't know at that time. But I just feel even till today, we always have 2 choices. So I just chose to smile.
So that's really very philosophical. And one thing you said to me just now that stuck in my head, and I'm trying to rephrase it. You are really, what you're doing is managing limited resources or limited energy resources to produce maximum effect by making right choices. So it's really, in a sense, you're saying to all of us, it's up to us. Maybe we can take the path of least resistance by just giving up and say, oh, it's not my business, I got to care only for myself. Or you can say, I'll take the challenge that when I begin to make a choice to care for others, I'm also caring for myself.
Yes.
And that is a lot more positive.
Yes.
Wow, that's really, really wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I must add another component which I think some of my fellow patients would also benefit from is, let's say, physiotherapist or occupational therapists help. They are able to guide us, like from 9 to 6, what are the different tasks we do? How does that impact our physical body? Does it lead to aches and pains, or does fatigue increase at certain points of our day? By monitoring that, they are experts and they are able to guide us how to manage our energy. So I had a fantastic experience where the occupational therapist told me, you use your energy like climbing up steps. You use a bit, you rest a bit. You use a bit and rest a bit.
Right.
Otherwise, we are so used to working one long stretch
Yes.
and then resting at the end of the day.
And then crash.
By then, we are exhausted. Absolutely.
Yes.
So those kind of little tips and tricks that come along, sometimes patients share with each other, or sometimes we have these allied health services. Who can
I'm sure that our listeners are also interested to find out from you, how does your society help patients, people who are having the same, diseases?
Yeah. So what I thought of first was to bring everyone together on a regular basis is something most charities would do, have monthly or bi-monthly meetings or quarterly meetings. But what I realized through my experience was there could be odd times in a day when I have a question and I'm looking for an answer.
You cannot ask Siri?
Who can give me that answer? So the first thing we did was a WhatsApp chat group. Yeah, that you write in when you have a question. Whoever is awake might answer. If not in the morning, there'll be a lot of other people who can answer. Because in my journey, I found online support very meaningful.
Yes.
There were certain groups that were based in the US or in Europe. And it was nighttime for us, and I got answers immediately. And I'm like, wow, this is fantastic. Yeah. So we use technology to help people. So that is one way. The other is to have these regular meetings. We also have annual meetings where we invite speakers who are experts in this space to empower us to learn and grow and be aware of our options when it comes to medication, management of all the different symptoms. All these things. So that is the education and empowerment part. Right. We also have some support in terms of resources, like videos, educational videos are up there. We have podcasts for patients to listen to other people's experiences. There's a whole lot of things we try to do. It's been 12 years and some financial support in a small way to encourage people to go regularly to their doctor, get their tests done, monitor their condition. Those are the little steps we have taken to help patients and their families.
And how is this society of yours being supported financially?
Okay, most of the support I think comes from our Rotary Club of Raffles City. Yes. And we have some other private companies that support us. They sponsor our educational efforts. So we're very grateful for these kind of supports coming in. Yeah.
I'm sure that listeners who want to support it can also do it.
Absolutely.
We'll make sure that there is a way for them to get to you.
Yes.
And I am also wondering about the initiatives that you are planning in the future. Maybe tell us something about that.
Over the last couple of years, actually, a lot of effort has gone into developing an app for our patients. Because if we post certain announcements in WhatsApp or Signal groups, it gets lost. And so an app can cleanly segregate announcements from educational materials to chats. So that should be coming up soon. Another one is an IBD symptom checker. Yeah, together with one of the pharma companies, we have developed an IBD symptom checker.
What's IBD?
Okay, yes. So Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis together are also called inflammatory bowel diseases. And the short form is IBD.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So there is a symptom checker we will be launching soon, and people can access it on the website to go through the different symptoms they might be experiencing and then what action can be taken to help them identify what is their condition, get a diagnosis, because early diagnosis is crucial.
Absolutely. Yeah, like in so many other diseases. So I'm just wondering, is this IBD thing growing in Singapore?
Yes, the number of cases have been increasing quite rapidly. About 11 or 12 years ago, when I was still trying to find my way and try to see how many people have this illness, there was an estimated 1,500 patients. Now there are 3,000 patients.
Wow, just in the course of 10 years.
12 years, yes.
Wow, that's
Yes.
doubled.
Yeah, that's a lot of patients. And the worrying part for me, and it disturbs me a lot, is children getting diagnosed.
Yes, yes.
So about 250 to 300 are children in Singapore. So anyone below 18 is classified as a child.
Okay,
And the youngest I've heard of is a few weeks old.
wow.
Very, very disturbing for me as a mother, because I relate to a lot of parents.
Yes,
It's very disturbing because a young child gets diagnosed with such a condition where we don't have an answer as to what caused it. So we can't prevent it in the next sibling who might be at risk, but we don't know how to prevent it because we don't know what causes it.
yes.
So a lot of research is needed in that space.
And that's being done right now.
There is some level of research
There's
happening.
internationally.
Internationally,
Yes.
a lot of work is being done. So we
Yes.
are trying to promote more,
Right.
because another thing that has been highlighted recently is people are living with multiple conditions.
Yes.
Like I mentioned, I got Crohn's disease and then fibromyalgia.
Right. Right.
I was subsequently diagnosed with 3 other conditions. So a total of 5 in my case.
Is that a pattern? Is that true that when you have CNC, Crohn's and colitis, that you're going to likely to have the others as well? Or?
That is where I'm trying to encourage more doctors and researchers to work together. Because for the longest time, I thought I was an exception. But then we recently did a survey, because we are members of the European Federation for Crohn's and Colitis
Right.
Associations, and they ran a survey on the unmet needs of patients and a very detailed study. And through that, they highlighted that actually there's a mismatch between focus areas. Clinicians might focus on reducing the episodes of diarrhea, whereas what patients want is reducing fatigue. And at this moment, there is no medication to reduce fatigue.
Yes.
So that is where we are trying to encourage that let's focus on what the patient wants, right? So that is one area. And then we in Singapore ran an informal survey. And we realized that around 50 to 60% of our members have multiple issues. It's not just having Crohn's disease or ulcerative
So it's
colitis.
50 or 60% then?
It was an informal survey. So now we need to get clinicians and
To confirm
researchers
that.
involved and look into this very systematically.
Right, right.
Because we have also funded a registry through Rotary. We did a matching grant
Right.
from Rotary International. And that was actually a very significant move where we invited experts from US to train doctors from 9 countries in our region. And this is because as patients, we are told after 8 years of symptoms, we are at 6 times higher risk of colorectal cancer. And to me, it was, what is it that I can do to prevent it or at least postpone it?
Yes.
Not just 8 years. Can we
Yes.
push it further and further?
Yes.
And at that time, this is very long ago, maybe in 2016, 17, I'm talking about. At that time, the only answer was you need to go for regular colonoscopy.
Yes.
And in my layperson's view, what that means is there's no cancer today. A few years later, we have a colonoscopy, no cancer. But then the subsequent time, you could just say, oops, you have cancer.
Right, but that's not preventive. I mean, that's
Nothing.
simply trying to
That's just diagnosis.
diagnose to say that you have or you don't have, but it
Exactly.
doesn't help to prevent
It doesn't help
Yeah.
us in any way.
Yeah.
So when I was going to be the president of my Rotary Club, that's when I was introduced to a doctor because I was looking for a project. Let's do something to make a difference in the lives of patients. Yeah. So I was introduced to a doctor from Stanford, Dr. Roy Sutikno, and he shared that there was a technique called chromoendoscopy,
I see.
which can detect precancerous cells while they are still a flat cell. They are not a polyp yet.
Yes.
And once that is identified, it can be scooped out and we can actually prevent colorectal cancer. And that technique was 10 years old, but was not used across Asia. So that's where we raised funds. My installation dinner was a fundraiser dinner. And we got matching grants from Hong Kong Rotary Club and Rotary International, the foundation. And then we trained 100 specialists from these countries to use this technique.
Wonderful.
So
Wonderful.
that's where I also realized that although our focus was IBD patients, those with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, but actually this technique will benefit a whole lot of people in Singapore
Right.
and the region.
Right.
Because colorectal cancer is the #1 killer of men in Singapore.
Yes.
So if this technique is used, all the families that are at high risk
Yes.
can have proper screening,
Yeah,
optimal
I'm
screening.
told it's particularly Chinese men.
It's a higher incidence.
Needy, higher incidence. Nidhi, maybe that's because we have a higher number of Singaporean Chinese. Nidhi, you mentioned about children, and I want to bring this to a close soon, but I mean, children always pull at our heartstring, and I think you have set up some kind of a children's fund. You want to tell us something about that
Yes.
as well?
Yes, that's a very, very good question, and I think many parents will find some comfort there. One of the challenges, firstly, to diagnose a child is they do not have diarrhea or vomiting straight away. Many children at 8-9 years of age would have low-grade fever for a month and only at night. So it's very challenging to even diagnose the kid. And once they are diagnosed, they are asked by the specialist to stop taking all food for 6 to 8 weeks and go on a nutritional drink. That's the only thing they can take. Because what happens in that case is it gives them the nutrition and it also kind of controls the illness to an extent where it gives or buys the child some time. Because these are young children, they need to grow.
Right.
They need to gain weight, they need to gain height. And if they are started on strong medication, all this will be stunted. Yeah.
That's part of the side effects.
Yes, it will be affecting their physical growth.
Yes.
So this nutritional drink was and still is pretty expensive because it's produced only by one company.
Yes.
So we came in with a fund to support children.
I see.
So by bulk purchasing, we are able to get a steep discount and we pass the entire discount to the families.
Right. Right.
Also giving free of charge for those who qualify for the fund.
Right.
Free of charge for 2 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
So before I bring this to a close, I just want to ask you too, how can we help to make people, especially in Singapore, more aware of what you are doing and what this Crohn and colitis disease is all about?
Yeah.
How can we help?
Yeah. People can feel free to join us when we have annual seminars. 11th May is the next annual seminar that we are organizing. It's a public forum. People can come and attend, listen, and understand, be a bit more compassionate, because it could be a young person in school or college who's going through this.
Yes.
It could be a young colleague
Right.
or a senior.
Yeah.
So gaining some understanding helps a lot of patients
Absolutely.
in that way.
Yeah.
The other is just to visit our website and gain a little bit more understanding about the illness.
Right.
So it's ibd.org.sg.
Yeah.
So people can visit that.
Yeah.
Use the symptom checker to find out if anyone is going through gut-related symptoms and then get help early. That
Yeah.
would be something.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So Nidhi, you have the last word. Say something, maybe a one-liner that can motivate us to be more concerned about this disease and this issue, because, as you said, it is growing and it could be affecting any one of us without our even realizing it.
Yes, yes. I would talk to anybody who's diagnosed with this illness. Anyone who reaches out to our organization, I literally spend 1 hour talking to them because I like to bring hope to people. I use my own example because with 5 diagnoses, I was taking 10 tablets every day. It is not easy because we are used to taking just 1 or 2 tablets occasionally, and then that's it. But doing this consistently has led me to a point where I was able to stop taking all medication officially.
Wow.
Because my body went into recovery, no more ulcers.
Wow.
So compliance is very important. As long as the illness is in active phase, people need to comply with their medication. And then once we reach something like a remission or mucosal healing happens, and there are no more ulcers in the gut, then doctors can confidently help the patient taper down the medication or reduce it. Yeah. So I would like to bring these 5 points to patients: that compliance is the first. Second would be find out your trigger foods, because each body is different.
Right.
What works for me might not work for you, might work for the third person. We don't know.
Right.
So systematically keep track of what we are eating and drinking. And then we are able to identify the trigger foods, eliminate those trigger foods. So if anyone needs help with the food, feeling, symptoms, diary, I'm here to help. The third thing I would say is managing work-life balance. Make time for self-care. Yeah. So then comes the part where we need to exercise. Even though I talk about fatigue, most normal people, healthy people would say, oh, you're tired, please go rest. But rest helps a little bit, but after that, it actually brings us into depression or borderline depression.
Yeah.
So what we need is some level of exercise.
Yes.
It moves us in the direction of positivity.
Yes.
Because we are outdoors, even if it is for 5 minutes. I literally started with 5 minutes walk.
Amazing.
And now I can build it up. So I would say exercise is important. And the last point is meditation. If people can do that, it helps deep cleanse our brain. It helps reset the body.
Right.
So that's all from me. There's no secret, but people can recover if we try our level best. So I hope for the best for everyone.
Thank you, Nidhi. You are very inspirational, as I've always said to you. I'm very honored to be your friend.
Thank you.
To have you for a friend.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for the privilege of talking to you. And I wish you and your society every success.
Thank you so much, William. Thank you for your time.